Bitcoin has so many things going for it that are making it appreciate in value, but there's one simple thing that absolutely will guarantee that it continues to multiply in value year after year, and that fact is that people who own Bitcoin die. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit morbid, but let me break down this idea because it's not one that should be ignored, and it's not something that you've heard a million times before. There's an insane amount of Bitcoin that are already lost, and that you've heard a million times. But here's something that you haven't thought about maybe. Every time somebody dies who owns Bitcoin that has not set up a system for their kin, next of kin to actually access those Bitcoin are lost forever and cannot ever be redeemed, cannot ever be taken away from that wallet. The first thing you might think when you hear that is that nobody is going to not set up a way for their family to redeem their Bitcoin in their will, right? No, that's actually completely false. Tons of people do this. I mean, at my age, I'm 28 years old, and at the moment, I do not have a way for people in my family to get my Bitcoin out of my cold wallets if I died. That's something that I'm working on and I should do, maybe like right after this video. But if I'm doing that and I love Bitcoin so much, I guarantee there are loads of others who are in the same situation. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I'm talking about future deaths, but this has actually already happened quite a few times. Most notably and recently, a Romanian guy named Mircea Popescu, probably butchering the name. He was a well-known billionaire with Bitcoin. He owned over $1 billion in Bitcoin, and this man died recently, and the crazy part that got people to write about it in news headlines is that he had no system set up for his next of kin, for his family, for anybody who got anything in his will to actually get that Bitcoin out of hardware wallets. That's insane. That's $1 billion of Bitcoin that is gone forever, and that value will continue to increase and increase and increase. In 2019, there was a man named Gerald Cotton. He was a Canadian guy, and he died with $135 million of Bitcoin, and then his wife told the news that he was the only one who had his keys. Even she didn't have access to his keys, so that $135 million of Bitcoin is lost. And now it's probably even more. It's probably around 250 or more. That is absolutely insane, and this will continue happening. So if you've never actually thought about this, you've just heard kind of the more regular theories that people will destroy their computer, or their computer will fail or whatever, and they won't be able to access their Bitcoin. That's all true, but this is a whole nother layer that goes on top of that. As people die and have not set up wills, or are too maybe scared to have their keys written anywhere except for in their brain or somewhere that only they know, that adds up massively. Think about how many people die each year. Think about how many people die every 10 years. And imagine even if it was just people like you and me who maybe own a Bitcoin or a couple of Bitcoin. Sure, 5 Bitcoin lost here and there, but multiply that by, 10,000 people every year, or 100,000 people every 5 years, or 1 million. Who knows how many people are going to die who own Bitcoin and just have no way to have people access it. That's an insane amount of Bitcoin. And adding that to the already deflationary nature of Bitcoin that has the halvings where less Bitcoin is mined, it has the absolute cap of 21 million Bitcoin will ever be mined, and then also all the other things that are taking Bitcoin away, like I'm saying, when people's computers fail or they throw away their hard drive, etc. You have a finite cap, and you have that finite cap actually shrinking as people die and lose access to their Bitcoin. So it's not 21 million, that's it. It's every single decade, less and less and less. That finite cap comes down, which just absolutely guarantees that the price goes up. It's an insane metric to think about. Anyways, this is just something I've been thinking about lately, and I just wanted to put it on video real quick. I know this is a short video, but I just wanted to make this point. For me, I'm already so sold on Bitcoin that I would bet anything. In fact, I've bet most of my net worth, over 80% of my net worth, on Bitcoin, and I'm completely comfortable with it. But thinking of things like this throughout the day just make me even more confident in the future of it. And for me, I would feel insane selling all of my Bitcoin and not having any Bitcoin as each year and decade moves on. For me, Bitcoin is something that I'm going to have in my portfolio for the rest of my life, but especially over the next 10 and 20 years. The opportunity cost and the possible outcome is so asymmetric. To me, it's such a huge possibility of reward for such a small risk. You can always make more fiat. You can always make more money, but at a certain point, you won't be able to get a full Bitcoin. It won't be possible. And so for me, it's a big deal. Anyways, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I would love to hear, are you holding Bitcoin? Do you have a different portfolio? What is your view? What's your perspective on all this stuff? If you like these videos, I appreciate when you give it a thumbs up. Definitely helps me to grow the channel, which I'm working really hard to do. And I appreciate you guys who are supporting. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already for more videos like this and other investment videos. And I will see you sexy people in the very next video. Peace.